It's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Today we're going to talk about one of my biggest wishes slash hopes for the game and the evolution of the game overall. Toppings. Now the reason is, when you look at small and extra small toppings, if you look here on the left side, you can hit the little eye bubble and see the little information to see what can be adjusted. And so, for instance, with this topping, we can only adjust the attack speed, the critical percentage, the cooldown, the damage resistance, the amplify buff, and the debuff resistance. So we can't alter defense, we can't alter the overall attack power, and we can't alter critical resistance because those just aren't on the list. And so it makes you wonder, what was the reason that these were set up? What were they invented for? Because with the epic toppings, you go to those, there's so much more different options, not only to adjust, but higher values too. So, I'm sure a lot of people have seen the leaks of large and extra large toppings. I'm sure that a lot of people have talked about them in great length. But here's my biggest wish. Seeing as right now, if I was to take all the common toppings that I have, and I would to break down even just one of them. So let's filter it and take it just to a common topping. Break down one. I only get one topping piece. It begs the question, if I was just to get these rewards in multiple game modes like you can, why not just give the topping piece? Why does the extra small topping exist? As an early game player, someone who started only about a month after the game initially launched, I only used these small toppings for about maybe a couple days. I never used the extra small toppings because I figured I could bear with it for 2 days to not have toppings if it meant getting the small toppings upgraded. And then when I got those small toppings upgraded, I was able to get far enough and fast enough to just go to the medium-sized toppings. And so I've never really understood the use other than just breaking down and having them be more like fluff rewards. Now, people could argue, well, yeah, coins are technically a fluff reward too. People accumulate them in huge masses. At least you can really truly use coins in a lot of different ways. Most people don't, because most people aren't going for those specific resources, so therefore they aren't used as much. And that's okay. Because if you think about it right now, if I wanted to, I could buy probably 100 of each decor item and still have maybe like 10, 20 million gold left out of my 142 million. That is not what I'm going for, so therefore there's no use to that. But I could spend that gold very quickly and very easily. Where with the toppings, the extra small and the smalls, all they do is break down just for a few more topping pieces. And as we've seen, upgrading medium toppings is very expensive, and you can never reduce the amount of topping pieces that it takes. You can only reduce the amount of gold when it comes to the laboratory. So, here's what my hope is. Dev Sisters, I hope you're listening to this one specifically. Go ahead and launch large toppings. Maybe just a start. You can wait on the extra large. I'm sure that might be a different step, just incrementals. But make it so that when you get a topping, it starts as an extra small. And then it grows to the extra large and the large on the way there. That way, for the players that have all the epic medium toppings, that are like, wow, I really love this topping. I took 6 months to get these specific stats on this topping because it takes a lot of time. You have a lot of breakdown, you have a lot of coin upgrade, you have a lot of min-maxing, getting the specific stats you want. I can respect and understand that we can't choose the stats. If we did have that option, there kind of wouldn't be a point because we would just have maxed out specific toppings of each type and the game would be very stagnated. So I can understand that we can't alter the stats that come with the toppings we get. I totally get that part because that would be a little bit game breaking. But what would not be is having the option to just keep upgrading along the same path and just getting a better version of what you already have. So that way, for the people that have already invested and have good toppings and they just want to upgrade it just a little bit more, it's doable. If, people have a perfect cooldown set, they don't have to, pray to the gods of gacha that they get another perfect cooldown set in a large topping setup. And of course, the stats change a little bit when you give those upgraded stats. So what you could do is you could have certain metrics have a little bit more weight on the large side. Maybe the less used metrics like amplify buff, HP, critical resistance, defense. Maybe if you go to a large topping, you can get defense at a substat version of like 12%. So people would have like an extra 80% defense. It's huge, and it could make a big difference in the gameplay, and a really fun one. Maybe you need a lot of testers to make that possible. That's also fair too. But consider those options, please, because then you can take these toppings that might be perfect for the players that are the high spenders, and they may go to a specific new substat that is not what they encountered or anticipated. So even though their perfect toppings may not specifically get to the rankings and stats that they need, at least it's a fair chance. And then same goes for the free-to-play players. For the ones that maybe have a topping that's like, yeah, it's pretty good, like it's got okay stats, but then boom, large topping comes out, you upgrade the stats, and then all of a sudden, they've got some like 4% cooldown as a substat now. It'd be very interesting. So the scales could tip pretty heavily in both ways just by doing that. And the biggest reason I ask for this specific change is just because this is like the most untouched piece of the game itself. You've adjusted coins and their value, their use, their overall tangibility. You've adjusted how we can get gems in various game modes and fashions. You've adjusted labs to set up more attack power, more strategies, more team variations. You've created mini games, and you've done a great job. The game is amazing and fantastic to play. This is just the one last section I think needs some real TLC to just drive it into the new age. Because think about it, if you make just even one change with the toppings, even if it's just to release large toppings, you reinvigorate the entire player base. There are gonna, I'm sure, be some people that are not happy. There always will be with every update. It seems that there's no way to make everyone happy, and that's understandable. But if you change something like that, you give everyone a breath of new life to look at and how they can change their gameplay, how they can elevate their status and style. It breathes new competition into the entire setup. So, you guys that are players, I really, really, truly want some big feedback on this video. If you can comment, if you can just give a little bit of your feedback and opinion, I need Dev Sisters to see this, and I want them to really, truly consider it. Maybe they already have, but let's make the voice heard on this one. Because we changed this, yeah, there might need to be a lot of, nitpicking about how we change it and how it works. But I think an upgrade system would be the smoothest transition. Because just releasing large toppings and saying, hey, 2-year player veterans, sorry that you spent 2 years building medium toppings, they're no longer valid, that just feels horrible. That's getting rid of your players. And then that's making it where new accounts have a bigger advantage, almost in a sense. So instead of that, let's have an upgrade system that lets you continuously promote the toppings in the same way that we were allowed to ascend our cookies and make them just a little bit stronger, a little bit better. I think that would be really fun. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful day.